Hello everyone, we're here in New York City with Sally Cook and Bob Cook. We're writing a biography on Maureen Connolly Brinker. They're both very kind to spend a few minutes with us today to share some facts and details about her life. So, hi Sally, hi Bob. Thank you so much for your time and for the opportunity. It's great to have a chat with you about Maureen, and it's a nice coincidence because it would be her 91st birthday this month. So if it's okay with you, we'd like to divide this conversation into two main chapters. The first would be Maureen growing up, her childhood, and her road to becoming a tennis legend. And the second would be Maureen after her accident and her retirement from tennis. So because I think we can speak about her legacy as a tennis player, but also as a person, let's start off with Maureen and how she got into tennis. Tell us a little bit briefly about her childhood and what were some of the main elements and or experiences that shaped her character and personality.
Well, it's great to be here, and I'll probably start with that by saying that in her very young years, her first love was horses. And this is a picture of her about 4 years old, 4.5 years old. She's on her pony ride. And she just absolutely loved horses. But what happened was her mom was a single mom, and she did not have enough money for horseback riding lessons. Her mother had also been a concert pianist and had dreams of going further with her piano, but her fingers didn't reach the octaves. So she sort of put her own dreams on Maureen and gave Maureen singing lessons and ballet lessons, but Maureen didn't take to them. And what she really took to was when she started playing tennis and she realized she was good. And then she said, I want to be the very best.
And the last time you had mentioned that if it hadn't been for her first coach, Wilbur, she might have never become the great player that she was. So from what you've read and researched and learned, how much is luck of being in the right place at the right time? And how much is the player's own talent, their grit and determination affect the outcome of their career?
Bob, would you like to take that one?
Sure. It was certainly luck that she encountered Wilbur. The way that happened was that she lived 2 houses away from a local tennis court in San Diego, and the man who ran the tennis shop adjacent to the court found this little girl crying in front of his shop. He said, "What are you crying about, little girl?" And she said, "The boys won't let me play baseball." So he said, "Well, look, if you will chase balls for me when I'm giving lessons, I'll give you some lessons." And right away he saw that she had major talent, and that was the beginning. So it was her own talent plus the fact that she got in front of this man who recognized it.
And talking about all of her very impressive accomplishments at such a young age, she was the youngest to win the US Open, the second youngest to win Wimbledon. And by the time she was 19, she had already won it all, including 9 Grand Slams. She was the first woman to win all 4 in the same year. Many people, I guess, don't realize how difficult that feat is. Can you share with us, based on your perspective, after all the research that you've done, how she was able to accomplish it?
It was just hard work from the very, very beginning. It was that goal. I'm going to be the #1 tennis player in the world. I'm going to be the best. And it was 5 hours of practice a day. It was hitting with people that were much, much better than she was. It was constantly refining her game. And when she won the Wimbledon in 1952, half an hour later, she was out there practicing her serve, which was one of her weakest points of her amazing game. And I wouldn't say it was weak. It was just one of the weaker points at that point. She had this incredible gift of knowing that she could be better all the time. And so, and she had determination and drive.
And what other important lessons about her life as an athlete could we take from Maureen?
Would you like to answer that, Bob?
Well, as an athlete, there were several things. Obviously, she had single-minded devotion to what she was doing. As Sally said, she practiced relentlessly. She also had an ability to concentrate in any circumstance. You could set off an explosion next door and she wouldn't notice. She'd just keep playing. And obviously, she had the innate talent.
And you had mentioned that Billie Jean King had told you that Maureen paved the way for women in tennis. What would you say was her more important contribution to the sport?
Well, yes, Billie Jean King, we are so fortunate because she wrote the foreword to our book. And when she wrote that Maureen had paved the way, I thought that was really, or helped pave the way, I should say, because there were lots of other female players that helped pave the way. But I think in the way that Maureen did it, after the war, Maureen burst onto the scene, and the people that she was playing were about 8 to 10 years older than she was. So she was like the newcomer, the new fresh thing. And she just, with her determination and her winning, and the first woman to win a calendar Grand Slam, women could do it. And I think that's what Billie Jean is referring to, is that just incredible optimism that she conveyed.
And moving on to talk more about Maureen as a person. At 19, she had her accident that forced her to retire, which must have been devastating for her since she was so passionate about tennis. How did she deal and cope with it, this setback?
She very much wanted to continue. She had the accident 17 days after she won her third Wimbledon. The accident date was July 20th, 1954, and it was a very serious accident. She severed many tendons in her leg, and she decided that she was going to get right back on the court. So as soon as the doctor said that she could, she started picking up marbles with her toes, taking ballet again, hitting maybe once a week. And by February 1955, 6 months after the accident, she asked a friend of hers who was the pro at the La Jolla Beach and Tennis Club to hit with her. And they were hitting really hard. It was a male. And afterwards, she said, "I'm in too much pain. I think my career is over." And she announced her retirement from tennis. But she was determined to play. And then she realized she couldn't. And she didn't skip a beat. She went on to play exhibition matches. She went on to teach. She had a tennis dress line. She helped her husband. In June of 1955, she married a man who was very interested in developing a restaurant career. And she helped him with his restaurants and branding his restaurants. And then she gave birth to 2 beautiful daughters. So she had a full and rich life, and everything she did, she gave her all.
And right after having her 2 daughters, she was still very young. She had a cancer diagnosis, which again must have been very, very devastating and another huge challenge for her to face and to overcome. How did she react to that challenge?
Well, at that time, too, she was going back to school. She'd never gotten her degree because she was playing so much tennis. And so she was in school. She continued her studies. She just went right about her life. She continued to teach. She was a phenomenal mother. Her daughters have told me all sorts of stories about what a fun, loving, wonderful mom she was. She helped her husband with the business, and she just carried on her life with a lot of bravery.
And in 1968, she founded the MCB Tennis Foundation. What was her main goal? What was the main thing that she wanted to accomplish with this foundation?
Well, I think she saw it as a means for helping children from all backgrounds to develop themselves, not only as athletes, but more importantly, as people. Teach them sportsmanship, responsibility, hard work, and the success that goes with that.
And if we had to summarize, what would you say, if we look at Maureen's image and what she stood for and her legacy, what are the most important lessons that people today, kids today, can learn from her and her life?
Well, I think it's really important to be passionate about things. She continued to ride horses. That was her first passion. That was an enjoyment. So she had fun with the horses. And with the tennis, I think eventually she really ended up enjoying it very, very much. So I think there was a joie de vivre, or enjoyment of life. I think she was always a good sport. I think she maintained phenomenal friendships. I think she put her all into everything that she did, as I said before. And without, looking back, she would always look forward and see the next new challenge.
All right. Thank you so much, Sally. Thanks, Bob. It's been a great chat. We really appreciate your time and your hospitality. I can't wait to read the book. So I'll be waiting for my signed copy.
You're the first person that's going to get a signed copy. We've enjoyed this so much, Matthias. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys so much.